All right, let's get right into it. We're going to break down why it feels like our ability to just focus has completely vanished. We'll look at the science behind our shrinking attention spans and, more importantly, what we can actually do about it. You've been there, right? You pick up your phone to check the weather, and 20 minutes later, you're deep into some random video feed and you have no idea how you got there. Well, if you've ever felt that, you're not alone. And I'm telling you, it is not an accident. Get this, 47 seconds. That is the average amount of time we now focus on any single screen before our attention gets pulled somewhere else. 47 seconds. Before you can even fully process a single idea, something else is already vying for your attention. Now, this chart really puts it into perspective. Look at that drop. From 2.5 minutes back in 2004 down to just 47 seconds today, that is a staggering 70% drop in less than 2 decades. This isn't just some natural shift in behavior. To be blunt, a crime has been committed against our focus. So let's look at the evidence. So who are the masterminds behind this great attention heist? Well, it turns out the culprits are kind of hiding in plain sight. They're embedded in the very design of the apps and websites we use every single day. Let's take a look at their toolkit. And this is absolutely crucial to understand. If you're struggling to put your phone down, it's not a personal failing. It's not because you lack willpower. It's because these digital tools are deliberately engineered with something called persuasive design. They're built from the ground up to exploit our brain's natural vulnerabilities and keep us hooked. First up, you've got the infinite scroll. Think about it. In the old days, you'd reach the bottom of a web page. That was a natural stopping point, a little moment for your brain to ask, okay, what's next? Should I keep going? Infinite scroll completely eliminates that. It creates this bottomless, frictionless experience that makes it way too easy to just keep scrolling. And here's where it gets really clever. They use what's called variable rewards. This is basically the slot machine effect. See, our brains get a much bigger kick of dopamine, that feel-good chemical, from an unpredictable reward. Every time you pull down to refresh your feed, it's like pulling the lever on a slot machine. You never know if you're going to get something boring or a huge jackpot of likes, notifications, and viral videos. And that uncertainty, that is powerfully addictive. Okay, so we've looked at the external forces, but now let's go inside. Let's talk about how these tools are actually literally rewiring our brains. Because this isn't just about being distracted for a few minutes. It's about fundamental changes to how we think. We have been sold a total myth about multitasking. The science is crystal clear on this. Our brains can't actually do two complex things at once. What we think of as multitasking is really just context switching. We're rapidly bouncing our attention back and forth, and doing that is incredibly inefficient and honestly just plain exhausting for your brain. You know that feeling when you get interrupted and when you go back to your work, you feel kind of foggy and can't quite get back in the zone? Well, there's a name for that. Attention residue. A piece of your brain is still stuck on that last email or that text you just checked. And studies have shown it can take up to 23 minutes to fully get your focus back on the original task. Crazy, right? At the same time, we're outsourcing our own memories to our devices. It's called cognitive offloading, and it's like letting a muscle get weak from disuse. Why bother remembering directions, phone numbers, or facts when Google knows everything? The problem is, by not using those memory circuits in our brain, we're actually making them weaker. So what's the actual fallout from all of this? What's the real-world cost of living in this state of constant distraction? Well, the consequences go way beyond just being less productive. We're talking about a serious impact on our mental health and even the physical structure of our brains. You may have heard people online joking about having brain rot. While it sounds like a meme, it's actually describing a very real feeling, that mental fog and exhaustion you get after hours of consuming low-quality, super-fast content. It's that bizarre feeling of being mentally drained even when you haven't done anything physically demanding at all. And the scientific costs are steep. This constant cognitive load leads directly to impaired focus and memory problems. It increases our stress hormones like cortisol. It leads to decision fatigue. And it can even cause neural strain as our brains start to favor shallow, quick-hit thinking over deep, analytical thought. In fact, these symptoms are becoming so widespread that researchers have started coming up with new terms for them. One is continuous partial attention. It's this state of being where you are constantly scanning everything, always on alert for the next notification or update, but you're never actually fully concentrating on any one thing. Okay, I know that all sounds pretty bleak, but here is the good news, the really important part. This is not a life sentence. Our brains have this amazing ability called neuroplasticity, which means they can change, they can be rewired. So this final section, this is your getaway plan. This is how you take back control. The whole philosophy here can be summed up as digital minimalism. And no, that does not mean you have to become a hermit and throw your phone into a lake. It's simply about being intentional. It's about curating your digital world so that you are the one in charge, so that your technology serves your goals instead of the other way around. And you can start with some really simple, actionable steps. Use the tools already on your phone to set hard limits on time-wasting apps. Go into your settings right now and turn off every single notification that isn't from an actual human being you care about. Block out time for what's called deep work, periods where you focus on a single task with zero distractions. And create tech-free zones, like maybe the dinner table or your bedroom. And just so you know, this isn't just feel-good advice. This stuff is backed by data. Research shows that a simple trick like switching your phone to grayscale mode, making it black and white, makes it far less stimulating to your brain, leading people to use it almost 40 minutes less every day. And just physically moving your phone to another room while you work, that can reduce the cognitive load on your brain by over 25%. That's huge. So here's the bottom line. In a world that is literally engineered to fracture your attention, the ability to concentrate, to think deeply, that is a superpower. It's one of the most valuable skills you can have. The question isn't whether our focus is under attack. We know it is. The real question is, what are you going to do to protect yours?